It is urgent that you are sheltered if you live in Jacksonville, if you're on the campus of Jacksonville State University.
This is a metal warehouse that was just next to the campus. You see this? This is steel that was blown over, not just blown over, but bent.
You can see just how high those flames were shooting up into the air. Now, at this point, one injury is reported.
But right now, look at your screen right here. We start with the rescue of a 4-year-old girl, Heidi Todd.
But again, you're looking at more evacuees coming off that boat right now.
The man ended up getting away during this chase on I-65 North as it comes right at you. As they try and box him in, he's not having it. He gets the pedal down and he's out of there.
2 injured, 1 dead in the shooting at the Hoover Galleria.
I'd never seen anything like it. Everyone was just yelling to run.
Look at the actual eye wall coming on shore right here. Wow.
That's the storm surge we were talking about.
You're looking at a roof being blown off right there as a storm chaser was recording that brutal blow. That is.
Roads that once looked like this are now drivable.
We thank ABC 3340 for working for us because it's made a difference.
Cynthia Gould with our 2-month investigation.
This is Mike Jones running from our camera outside the Shelby County Courthouse in late October. We tried repeatedly to reach Jones about these unpaid bills with a visit to his office in Pelham.
Hello? A Jefferson County grand jury indicted a former Cooper Green administrator for possession of child pornography. Mark Sussman retired from his job during an ABC 3340 News I-Team investigation. I-Team investigator Brian Pia broke the original story.
He retired from his $92,500 a year job about 2 weeks ago. That's after we started asking questions about why he remained on the job for so long. He avoided our questions by bolting out of the courtroom and down a stairway. 3 months ago, a grand jury indicted Sussman on 6 counts of possession of child pornography. Fired St. Clair Prison Assistant Warden Cedric Specs is accused of improper use of a state cell phone and state car, among other violations. In this exclusive interview, Specs made surprising admissions.
I admitted to everything I did wrong.
You may have a couple just topless, stuff of that nature.
Specs admitted that he stored the explicit photos on an app on his state cell phone. The photo storage app was disguised as a calculator.
State Personnel Board upheld the firing of a St. Clair prison assistant warden. Cedric Specs was accused of having sexual relationships with prison workers and using his state cell phone to sext with them. Landowners reaching out to the ABC 3340 I-Team after they say a company cut thousands of dollars worth of timber from their land and didn't pay for it. The I-Team's Cynthia Gould first broke this story on sexual harassment allegations against lawyer Randy Hames earlier this year. Cynthia, is Hames still practicing law?
Chris, no, the Alabama bar suspended his license.
Millions of your tax dollars going to pay massive amounts of overtime for Alabama employees. And a few state employees are really raking it in.
In an exclusive I-Team report, we uncovered one corrections department worker making almost as much as the governor.
And this is video of Tompkins' Facebook page before he took it down during our investigation. Take a close look at the comments on his page. People call him by the nickname Big Money. That includes Carl Sanders, now a retired captain who worked at the St. Clair prison. Sanders is the same person who signed one of Tompkins' performance appraisals. Last year, Tompkins made almost as much as Alabama Governor Kay Ivey.
So, Brian, I understand Bob Horton, the public information manager for the Corrections Department, didn't like you interviewing their chief of staff.
That is right. And Horton called me an unethical reporter for interviewing Chief of Staff Steve Brown about the overtime issue following that graduation ceremony. Keep in mind that Brown is a public official. He agreed to be interviewed about the overtime topic. Meantime, Horton says I'm now banned from all Department of Corrections property, but I can assure you we're going to stay on top of the story, and there is much more to come.
You talked about how unique Oliver is in terms of elected officials who have charges. What is that uniqueness?
That he quickly and humbly admitted his crimes. As I mentioned, most public or elected officials who we've prosecuted or have been prosecuted around the state challenged their crimes.
And I was given exclusive access inside the U.S. Navy. And in my series, Alabama the Brave, tonight we go into the water for survival swim lessons.
It's a gun, and I didn't believe it until the teacher came out and said, "Run, is a gun."
The first calls come in around 3:30. Shots fired with 2 down.
50 Springville Road at Huffman High School. Medical aid on the gunshot wound. Report that there are 2 patients at this location.
2 teens, 1 male, 1 female, both rushed to the hospital.
The sound of sirens would replace the dismissal bell, and when it was over, a young woman wouldn't be coming home.
You're looking at live images right now of the Galleria, where there is a large police presence there. Those reports, as we mentioned, coming within the last 30 minutes.
Our youngest son was in the mall at the time, and he was on the phone with us earlier, and he said they were sprinting, and a lot of people, as they were sprinting out.
Me and a couple of friends we were down by the Sears on that end of the mall, and I thought I heard some loud noises.
ABC 3340.
Everyone was just yelling to run.
Our youngest son was in the mall at the time.
We heard some, really, disturbing screams from people who had obviously seen something, and they were sprinting. It seemed like they were running for their lives.
And I just heard a couple of shots. Then afterwards, I just saw this avalanche full of people.
And I looked behind me, and she was gone.
Screaming, running, and looking for folks. Screaming, running, and looking for folks. I saw some folks hiding.
And everybody screamed and freaked out. They pushed us in supply closets in Mountain High.
I called my mom, and I just told her, I was like, look, there's nowhere for us to go. Everybody's hiding underneath clothes.
It was very tense. It was silent. Total fear, confusion, everything.
This is literally where people would rush in the event that there was severe weather, particularly a tornado. Right now, just a precaution, again, not trying to make anyone nervous, but there's certainly something that they are prepared for. This all happened once that tornado watch was issued for this area. You see Coleman Police here right now, and we actually have, Chris, if we can pan over, one group right here. They're waiting just in case. They came all the way out here. They've got their car ready. These people right here, though, they were able to get in here in their cars over this overhang here at Grace Chapel, and were able to avoid having their cars damaged. I'm joined by these two right here.
This is what the hail did to some of the windshields. And take a look at this car over here next to me. You can see significant damage not only on the windshield, but also you can see just the amount of dents on the hood of this car.
And this has been the main culprit, has been hail, still hours after it fell here. And the damage is really not here on the side. It came from above to the roof here of the Coleman County Jail. But if you take a look inside, you'll see exactly the extent of that damage.
Open the door. Pull the door out of my hand. I run out the closet.
An EF3 tornado left a path of destruction in Calhoun County. You are looking live right now at the ABC 3340 Sky View at the Mess in Jacksonville. We turn to ABC 3340's Pam Huff and Chief Meteorologist James Spann. Pam and James.
I want to get James's first reaction here to what we are seeing. EF3, you have no problem with accepting that with the damage scene.
Right. And the way these surveys work, Pam, the Weather Service works down the entire path of the tornado. And they're going to have an initial estimate based on the first thing they see.
We interrupt this program for a special report from ABC 3340 News.
I'm Christopher Sign live in the ABC 3340 newsroom. We continue to follow the breaking news of an active shooter situation at UAB Highlands Hospital. Our live images coming in right now to the newsroom. As you see this, Birmingham police are confirming that so far 2 people have been shot.
ABC 3340 News starts now with live breaking news.
Radio to all South units, UAB Howard has an active shooting inside the hospital.
These are images from inside our sister station, WCTI in New Bern, North Carolina. The staff there was forced to evacuate during the height of the storm as floodwaters swept right into the building. You see that there. And this week, ABC 3340 is stepping up to help our broadcast brothers and sisters in need in eastern North Carolina.
ABC 3340's Lauren Walsh just arrived in the Raleigh-Durham area in North Carolina to help the WCTI team recover.
Hey, let's go, baby!
Alabama didn't hold back. After 12 months and 14 games, it earned the right to let loose.
Where the Tide players are just hours away from the biggest game of many of their lives.
That's exactly right, Pam and Brenda. But you know, the Tide has played big games before this year.
And where in the world is Jeff Spiegel? The answer to that question is Homewood, where the Patriots are playing Chelsea in the Friday Night Rivals game of the week.
Welcome back to Fort Lauderdale, everybody. Earlier today, coaches Saban and Riley met the media one more time before they match wits tomorrow night.